They say the ocean keeps its secrets in silence, but sometimes the silence screams back. Before the first lighthouse was lit, before our maps had names for the vast empty blue, something was already waiting in the depths below. The Kraken, not born of this world, but awakened from an abyss so profound that light itself dies before it can reach the bottom. Old sailors, weathered and wise, spoke of the ocean having moods like a temperamental god, but they forgot to fear its hunger. The story of the Kraken begins where human courage ends, beneath the final, crushing wave of a man's faith. Its eyes, they say, are older than time itself. Its heart is the very heartbeat of the deep. No one ever saw it coming. They only saw the sea rise, a solid wall of black water reaching for the sky. Then silence again. Always silence after the scream. And in that silence, something moved, the surface rippling in perfect unnatural circles. The Kraken had fed, and now it slept again. The Vikings called it halfgufotha, sea vapor. They saw its immense back breaking the surface and believed it was just another island, a new piece of land to claim, until that land blinked. They learned too late that it swallowed ships not with anger or malice, but with a terrifying, ancient indifference. Every legend of the sea begins with a missing crew and ends with the sound of wood cracking under an impossible, unseen pressure. Those few who survived spoke of a smell carried on the windsalt, rot, and something else, the scent of life so old it defied understanding. One man swore he saw its mouth open wider than the horizon itself, a gate to oblivion. Another claimed he felt it watching his ship for days, a malevolent presence lurking just beyond the fog before it finally struck. They drew maps, desperate warnings etched onto parchment. Here be monsters. But the truth was far more chilling. The monsters were already here, beneath their very keels. Near the coast of Norway, the British Navy lost 3 proud ships in a single storm. Witnesses claimed the sea itself rose up to devour them, the water twisting into colossal living shapes. They fired cannons into the deep, and in the deafening silence that followed the explosions, something screamed back from below. In 1752, a Captain Jonas Hall filed a report describing a creature the size of a cathedral, its form barely visible in the churning water. As he wrote in his logbook by candlelight, the ink seemed to tremble on the page, the quill shaking in his hand as if the sea itself were guiding, his words twisting them into a prophecy of his own doom. 2 weeks later, Captain Hall vanished. His ship was found adrift, a ghost on the foggy waters. The crew was gone, the decks covered in a strange, thick slime. They say the sea remembers every name it swallows. The Kraken became the ocean's ghost, feeding, waiting, watching, and still, in the warm, safe halls of science and reason, no one believed. Then came the Victorians, an age that tried to measure fear with brass and steel. They believed everything, even nightmares, could be classified, catalogued, and neatly stored in dusty books. But the Kraken doesn't fit in glass jars. When the first telegraph cables were laid across the ocean floor, strange signals began to echo back through the wires. Patterns like a heartbeat, but far too slow, too powerful to be human. Ships began vanishing again, this time ships of steel and steam. Even iron was not enough to resist the crushing embrace of the abyss. Divers sent to investigate the wrecks found suction marks on the twisted metal hulls, scars the size of doorways. Scientists called it coincidence. Sailors called it the Kraken. But myths survive for a reason. They are the memories of truths too terrible to face. In 1924, a submarine on patrol reported something impossibly large moving above them. It cast a shadow that eclipsed the entire length of the vessel, blotting out the faint filtered sunlight from the surface. Then the lights went out. The submarine's final garbled recording captured only a single, terrified word whispered into the darkness: alive. After that, the sea went quiet, again too quiet. No birds circled overhead. No fish broke the surface. There was only the sound of something vast breathing, deep, deep below. They sent divers down to find the lost submarine. Only one came back. He surfaced, shaking uncontrollably, his eyes wide with a horror he could not put into words. He refused to speak of what he saw, his gaze forever fixed on the dark water, as if still watching it. Some whispered he never really surfaced at all, that the man who returned was just an empty shell. The Kraken doesn't kill just to feed. It feeds to remind us of our place. This wasn't just ancient history. In 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration NOAA, recorded a sound of unknown origin from the deep Pacific. They named it the bloop. It was louder than any known animal, deeper than any earthquake. Officially, its source remains a mystery, but hidden within the data was a pulse, a rhythm. Like breathing, every 13 hours, the same beat returned from the abyss. Scientists shrugged, but the sailors at sea, the ones who truly know the ocean, they stopped sleeping. A few years ago, a deep-sea expedition filmed something vast moving beneath the Mariana Trench. The drone's powerful lights caught a glimpse of a colossal shape passing by in the darkness. It wasn't swimming, it was waiting. Then, the feed went dark. The screen filled with static. They never found the submersible. Governments called it equipment failure. But the ocean doesn't lose equipment. It collects trophies. Perhaps the Kraken isn't a monster. Perhaps it's a form of balance, a force of nature that rises when humanity's arrogance grows too loud. A myth reborn through the cold, impartial data of sonar pings and the chilling silence of a lost signal. It seems to be stirring again, awakened by the endless noise we send down into its silent world. It hears our signals, our probes, our relentless searching. Maybe the Kraken isn't gone. Maybe it's just listening, waiting for us to forget again, to believe we have conquered the last frontier. Because when that arrogance returns in full, so does the Kraken. And when it rises once more from the depths, remember this, the ocean never forgets. If the deep still hides monsters, what else have we chosen not to see? Thank you for watching Nico Dark Archives, where myths breathe and darkness remembers. Don't forget to subscribe.